Welcome to English Rise. Take a slow breath and let the noise of your day fade into the background. This is not just a video to practice English. This is a mirror that will show you how much of your life you are losing because your mind is scattered, hijacked, and unfocused. If this type of deep, dark, reflective content helps you grow, in English and in life, consider subscribing to English Rise so you don't walk this journey alone. Now, let's step into the battlefield. Your mind is the most powerful tool you own. More powerful than your job. More powerful than your money. More powerful than your circumstances. And yet, if you're honest, you don't treat it like something sacred. You treat it like a public trash can, where anything and everything can be thrown in. You say you want focus. You say you want clarity. You say you want to build a life that actually means something. But look at how you live. You try to read a page, and your hand reaches for your phone. You try to work for an hour, and you open 3 social media tabs just for a second. You sit down to think. And instead of facing your own thoughts, you run to music, to videos, to notifications, to anything that keeps you away from yourself. You think you're choosing these distractions. You're not. You're obeying them. Your mind is not focused. Your mind is fragmented. There is a brutal reality about the modern world. You are not fighting against simple distraction. You are fighting against entire industries built to make your mind unfocused. Every app notification, every feed, every colorful thumbnail, every cleverly designed sound and vibration is not an accident. It is a hook that enters your brain, grabs your attention, and pulls it away from what actually matters. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are conditioned. You live in an attention economy where your focus is a product being bought and sold. And if you don't understand that, you will keep blaming yourself without ever seeing the system that profits from your mental weakness. But here's the hard truth you must accept if you want a focused mind. The system is not going to save you. You must save yourself. Platforms will not suddenly become healthier. Apps will not suddenly decide, let's stop stealing their attention. You have to create protection from the inside. You have to become dangerous with your focus, because a focused mind is a dangerous mind. A focused mind can learn faster than people who are smarter than you. A focused mind can turn average talent into extraordinary results. A focused mind can reshape your career, your relationships, your body, your identity. The difference between the person you are now and the person you could be is not motivation. It is focus. Motivation is a spark. Focus is the fire that keeps burning when the spark is gone. But first, you must see clearly how your mind actually works. You think you have a mind. You don't. You have layers of mind. A primitive mind that wants pleasure, comfort, and safety. A reactive mind that fires up when something shines, blinks, or screams for attention. And a higher mind that can plan, observe, decide, and choose. Right now, most of your day is controlled by the lower layers. Every time your phone lights up, your reactive mind jumps. Every time you feel bored for 3 seconds, your primitive mind screams for a hit of stimulation. Every time a hard task appears, your lower mind whispers, later, tomorrow, not now. Your higher mind is awake only in short moments, late at night when you feel guilty, early in the morning when you make plans, after you fail and swear you'll change. But then, you hand the controls back to the same unfocused patterns. That is not an accident. That is a program. To understand the power of a focused mind, you must accept one simple idea. Your mind is programmable, not in a science fiction way, in a very practical way. What you repeatedly focus on becomes your mental default. If you focus on chaos, your mind becomes chaotic. If you focus on quick hits of pleasure, your mind becomes impatient and weak. If you focus on one thing deeply, your mind becomes sharp and dangerous. The problem is this: you didn't write most of your current program. It was written for you, by school, by family, by social media, by years of habits, by 1,000 small decisions you barely remember. The good news is this: you can write a new one. This is what reprogramming your mind really means. Not repeating positive phrases in front of a mirror while your habits stay the same, but changing where your attention lives every single day. Imagine your attention as a flashlight in a dark room. Wherever you point it, that part of your life becomes brighter, clearer, more detailed. But you don't hold this flashlight firmly. You let everyone else touch it. A message arrives. You give the flashlight to your phone. A notification pops up. You give the flashlight to an app. An intrusive thought appears. You give the flashlight to your anxiety. And then you say, "I don't know why I feel lost." You feel lost because you are not the one holding the light. A focused mind means taking that flashlight back and saying, "This is where we are looking. This is what we are doing. And we are not moving just because something shines somewhere else." Part 2. You trained your distraction. Now train your focus. You probably say things like, "I can't concentrate." "My attention is terrible." "Whenever I try to focus, my mind runs away." You say these things as if they were permanent truths. They are not. Your attention is not broken. It is trained, just in the wrong direction. Think about how you use your phone. You open an app, scroll for 5 seconds. Your brain gets a small hit of novelty. You close it, open another app, another hit, short video, comment, notification, update, new feed, new sound, new face, new drama. Your brain is learning something. Focus is unnecessary. Nothing requires your full attention. Everything important fits into 10 seconds. After months and years of this, you try to sit down and read for 30 minutes or study for an hour, and your brain rebels. Not because you are weak, but because you trained it to live in a world of micro-attention. You trained your distraction. Now you must train your focus. Focus is not a talent. It is a muscle. And like every muscle, it grows with stress, rest, repetition. You cannot go from 0 to extreme focus in one day. You cannot spend 10 years scrolling every spare second and expect to suddenly become a monk of concentration. You will have to rebuild it. Slowly, deliberately, aggressively. Here is the first tool. Focus windows. A focus window is a block of time where you decide, with full consciousness, for the next X minutes my mind belongs to this one thing, nothing else. Not mostly this, not this, plus a little bit of messages. Not this, but I'll check my phone if I feel bored. No. One task, one direction, one flashlight. At the beginning, your focus windows will be small, maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15, maybe 20. That's fine. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're trying to rewire your brain. Choose one important activity. Reading a book that actually matters to your growth. Studying a topic that will change your career. Writing, creating, planning. Learning English deeply, like you are doing right now. Set a timer. During that window, you follow one rule. No switching. No, just a quick check. No, I'll respond really fast. No, I'll open another tab for a second. Because every time you switch, even for a moment, you send a message to your brain. Distraction is allowed. Distraction is normal. Distraction is safe. You want to send the opposite message. For this block of time, distraction is not an option. You are not just working. You are training. The first focus windows will hurt. Your mind will protest. You will feel an itch to check something. You will have thoughts like, "This is not productive. I should multitask. I'm wasting time. This is too hard." That is your old program trying to protect itself. Do not negotiate. You are not just trying to complete a task. You are trying to break a pattern. When you stay with the task, even when you feel bored, you are sending a new signal to your brain. I am the one who decides where our attention goes. Not boredom. Not impulse. Me. With repetition, your brain will adapt. What feels impossible today will feel normal in a few weeks. Your focus muscle will grow. But focus windows alone are not enough. You cannot create intense focus in a chaotic environment. You must align the outside with the inside. This means one thing. You must redesign your environment to support your focused mind. Right now, your environment is probably built for distraction. Your phone always near you. Notifications always on. Feeds one click away. Tabs open everywhere. Everything in your room screaming, "Look at me, touch me, use me." You cannot live inside a casino and expect to act like a monk. So you must create distance between yourself and the triggers that steal your focus. There are 3 types of triggers you need to control. 1. Visual triggers. Things you see that remind you of distraction. Your phone on the table. A controller, remote, or console visible. Open tabs on your screen. If you don't want to be distracted, stop decorating your space with your addictions. 2. Auditory triggers, sounds that pull your attention out. Constant notifications, random background noise you chose, but that actually keeps a part of your mind busy. Silence can be uncomfortable, but discomfort is training. 3. Digital triggers, easy access to the platforms that have been training your mind to stay unfocused. Apps on the first screen of your phone, bookmarks for social media, saved passwords that make it too easy to log in mindlessly. You don't fight these triggers with willpower alone. You remove or reduce them. You put your phone in another room during your focus windows. You turn off non-essential notifications. You sign out of platforms or even delete the ones that give you nothing but mental noise. Not as a moral decision, but as a strategic one. You are reprogramming your mind. So you must also reprogram your environment. You might think, "This is extreme." But look at your life. Isn't it extreme to lose entire years of your potential because you can't sit with one task for 20 minutes? Isn't it extreme to wake up every day and let strangers on a screen decide what you think about? Isn't it extreme to feel your brain getting weaker and call it normal? Extremes exist on both sides. You can live on the extreme of distraction, where your mind is constantly pulled, fragmented, exhausted. Or you can live on the extreme of focus, where your mind becomes a directed beam of energy that actually builds something. You choose your side with every notification you allow, with every tab you open, with every just 5 minutes you give to your vices. Part 3. The voice inside your head is breaking your focus. Keep listening carefully. The words you're about to hear are not just English practice. They are a direct confrontation with the way you treat your own mind. You already know that your environment and your habits affect your focus. But there is something even more powerful shaping your attention every second. Your internal dialogue. The voice inside your head. When you sit down to focus, your biggest enemy is not your phone, not social media, not your messages. Your biggest enemy is the silent commentary in your mind about what you're doing. You open a book. You start reading. After 2 minutes, the voice appears. This is boring. You're not understanding anything. This is a waste of time. You're not like those productive people. You'll never finish this. You try to work on a project. You feel some resistance. The voice speaks. You're already behind. You should have started earlier. Someone else is doing this better than you. You're not good enough. You say you want focus, but your internal dialogue is constantly attacking your focus. Every negative sentence you repeat in your head is not just a thought. It is a command. And your brain obeys. Here is a difficult truth. You talk to yourself in a way you would never talk to someone you love. You interrupt your own effort. You insult your own capacity. You predict your own failure before you even start. Then you say, I have no discipline. Of course you don't. How can you stay focused when the person who lives inside your mind is constantly sabotaging you? You are not just unfocused. You are psychologically noisy. If you want a focused mind, you must first create a calmer internal environment. You must become a different voice. This doesn't mean you have to become positive in a fake way. It does not mean lying to yourself, pretending everything is easy, pretending you're amazing all the time. That's not self-discipline. That's delusion. A focused mind is not built with lies. It is built with clear, firm, honest self-talk. The internal voice of a focused mind sounds more like this. This is hard, and we're still doing it. I don't fully understand this yet, but I'll understand it if I keep going. I feel like escaping, but this feeling will pass. The work will remain. I have been weak in the past, but right now I choose to be strong. This is not cheesy motivation. This is mental leadership. You stop being a victim inside your own head, and you start being the one who gives the orders. To reprogram your mind for focus, you need to install 3 new mental rules in your internal dialogue. Not affirmations. Rules. Rule 1. No self-insults during effort. You can criticize your strategy. You can analyze your results. You can admit your mistakes. But while you are in the middle of focused work, there is one thing you are not allowed to do. Attack yourself. No more I'm stupid. No more I can't do this. No more I'm a loser. Not while I'm working. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to be confused. You are allowed to be slow. You are not allowed to verbally destroy yourself in the middle of the process. Every time you catch yourself doing it, you stop and correct. Thinking like this will not help. I'm staying with the task. It will feel fake at first. Your old habits will resist. But repetition wins. Rule 2. No negotiation with the task inside the focus window. Once you start a focus window, you are not allowed to enter a debate in your mind about whether you should continue. No more. Maybe I should do this later. I don't feel like it. I should check something else first. I'll just pause for a few minutes. You made a decision before the window started. The decision is done. Your job now is not to redecide. Your job is to execute. If your mind tries to negotiate, you respond, we already decided. We can complain later. Right now, we're working. You can be kind. You can be gentle. But you must be firm. You are not your mood's employee. You are the one who writes the rules. Rule 3. The feeling comes second. The action comes first. An unfocused mind waits for the right feeling. I'll work when I feel ready. I'll study when I feel motivated. I'll focus when I feel clear. That is why it never starts. A focused mind shapes the feeling by acting first. You don't wait to feel disciplined to sit down and concentrate. You sit down, and discipline builds itself inside the action. You don't wait to feel confident before you speak in English. You speak, make mistakes, survive, and confidence grows as a result. You don't wait to feel energetic before you train your body. You start training, and energy appears after you begin. You are not a slave to your initial emotional state. You can create a new emotional state through action. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how do I actually change my internal dialogue? These thoughts come automatically. Yes, they do. At first, you cannot control the first thought, but you can control which thoughts you feed. Think of your mind as a room with two voices. The voice of weakness and the voice of strength. The voice of weakness says, "Stop. This is useless. Check your phone. You're not good enough." The voice of strength says, "Continue. This is hard, but it matters. Stay here. You are capable of more than this." Both voices exist in everyone. The difference between a focused mind and a scattered mind is simple. Which voice you obey more often? Every time you obey the voice of weakness, it gets stronger. Every time you obey the voice of strength, it gets stronger. You are always training one of them. So here is a practical exercise to start reprogramming your internal dialogue. For the next 7 days. 1. Choose one daily focus window, 15, 20, or 30 minutes. 2. Before you start, write one clear intention in a sentence. For example, for the next 20 minutes, I will focus only on reading this chapter. For the next 30 minutes, I will focus only on studying English. For the next 25 minutes, I will focus only on this project. 3. During the window, observe your mind. Every time a negative thought appears that attacks you or tries to pull you away, don't follow it. Simply say internally or out loud, "Not now." Then return to the task. You are not trying to stop thinking. You are training the ability to not obey every thought. That is the core of a focused mind. Part 4. Identity. Who are you when no one is watching? You can use all the techniques in the world. You can do focus windows, remove distractions, change your environment, speak to yourself with discipline. But if deep inside, you still see yourself as a scattered, weak, distracted person, your mind will keep returning to that identity because your behavior always tries to stay consistent with who you believe you are. If you tell yourself, "I'm just not a focused person," your brain listens. If you repeatedly say, "I'm always distracted," your brain shapes your behavior to match that statement. Your identity is the script. Your actions are just the actors. If you don't rewrite the script, the same story will keep playing. So let's ask a hard question. Who are you when no one is watching? Not who you post as. Not who you pretend to be online. Not who you say you'll become in January. In the quiet hours, when it's just you and the screen, you and the book, you and the work. Who are you? The person who chooses the uncomfortable task and stays with it? Or the person who runs away the moment something becomes difficult? The person who respects their own decisions? Or the person who breaks every promise they make to themselves? The person who uses their phone? or the person who is used by it? Answer honestly. You don't have to tell anyone, but your mind already knows. If your current identity is weak, it doesn't have to stay that way. Identity is not fixed. It is built. You are building it with every action you repeat. A focused mind is not just someone who can concentrate. A focused mind is the mind of a person who sees themselves as someone who stays with the book, with the code, with the practice, with the problem, with the silence, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. So the question becomes, how do you start seeing yourself as a focused person when your past is full of distraction? You don't start with belief. You start with evidence. Small, undeniable evidence. You choose one tiny commitment and you keep it no matter what. For example, I will do one 15-minute focus window every day for the next 7 days. That's it. Not 3 hours, not a perfect routine, just 15 minutes. Every time you complete it, you are sending a message to your identity. I am the kind of person who does what they say, even in small things. After a few days, a subtle but powerful shift happens. When you think, I'll focus now, your brain no longer laughs. It remembers. We have a history of doing this. Trust starts to grow, and focus is much easier when you trust yourself. This is how reprogramming really works. Not by wishing, not by repeating empty phrases, but by changing your behavior until your brain has no choice but to update your identity. We are no longer the person who spends hours mindlessly scrolling. We are the person who stops when we decide to stop. We are no longer the person who avoids difficult tasks. We are the person who starts anyway. We are no longer the person who blames the world for our lack of attention. We are the person who builds their own focus. This is not ego. This is responsibility. Part 5. Focus is your force multiplier. Your mind has been pulled in 1,000 directions today. But right now, you are here, listening, breathing, paying attention. And that alone puts you ahead of the version of you that keeps running from itself. You've seen how distraction is trained, how focus can be rebuilt, how your environment and internal voice shape your attention, and how identity locks you into patterns. Now we go to the core. What happens to your life when you finally develop a truly focused mind? There is a simple idea that most people never fully understand. Focus is a force multiplier. It makes everything else you do more powerful. If you are talented but unfocused, your talent leaks. You start many things, finish few. You understand a lot, execute little. If you are average but focused, your focus concentrates your energy. You may not be the smartest in the room, but you are the one who finishes. You are the one who goes deeper. You are the one who stays. Over time, depth beats scattered intelligence. It doesn't matter if we're talking about learning English, building a business, growing a career, mastering a skill, transforming your body, improving your relationships. The equation is always the same. Time X. Quality of focus. Jar result. Most people only think about time. How many hours did you study? How long did you work? How many years of experience do you have? But hours without focus are empty. You can study English for 3 hours with your phone in your hand, your mind half on the lesson and half on your notifications, and learn almost nothing. Or you can study for 30 minutes with full attention, repeating, listening, speaking, mind completely present, and progress more in that half hour than in weeks of distracted study. Time matters, but focus decides what time becomes. Think of your attention as light. Unfocused attention is like a normal light bulb. It illuminates a big area, but weakly. Focused attention is like a laser. It doesn't illuminate much, but where it touches, it cuts. Most people live their whole lives with light bulb attention. A little bit of effort here, a little bit of effort there, a little bit of effort everywhere. And no real impact anywhere. A focused mind turns your attention into a laser. You decide, this is what I'm cutting into the world. This is what I'm changing. This is what I'm building. And all your mental energy is aligned in that direction. That is where real power comes from. Not from doing everything, but from doing what matters with full presence. Let's bring this back to something practical. Your English. Maybe you've been learning English for years. You watched videos. You followed pages. You downloaded apps. You repeated phrases sometimes. But your focus was never deep. Your mind was always half in, half out. You listened to audios while checking your messages. You studied with 10 tabs open. You read texts but never spoke out loud. So your progress was slow, fragile, inconsistent. A focused mind changes the rules. When you sit to train your English with focus windows, intentional listening, and out loud practice, your brain starts to adapt. You no longer just expose yourself to English. You attack it. You are not a passive listener. You are an active learner. You repeat. You shadow. You write. You speak. You struggle. You stay. In months, you can do what unfocused people don't do in years. Not because you are a genius, but because you are actually present when you practice. This is true not only for English. If you bring the same level of focus to your work, your career will move. You won't just be at your job. You will build skills while you're there. You will be the person who actually understands the systems, who reads the documentation, who studies the tools deeply, who experiments, who asks better questions. Most people at work are half asleep. Their bodies are at the desk, but their minds are on their phones, on random thoughts, on mental noise. A focused mind doesn't just show up. It penetrates. You become the one who sees things others don't, who solves problems other people don't even fully understand, who progresses while everyone else is just busy. In a world of scattered minds, focus is a competitive advantage. But there's one more dimension. A focused mind does not only change what you do, it changes how you experience life. When your mind is constantly jumping, you lose the depth of every moment. You talk to someone you love, but you're half inside your screen. You walk outside, but you don't see anything. Your thoughts are still stuck in your feed. You eat, but you don't even taste your food. You lie down to sleep, but your mind replays 1,000 fragments of noise. You are everywhere and nowhere. A focused mind is a mind that can be fully here, fully in the conversation, fully in the task, fully in the silence, fully in the rest. Focus is not just about productivity, it is about presence. And presence is the only place where life is actually lived. Part 6. Protect your focus like your future depends on it. Because it does. When you start to develop real focus, you will notice something. The world will try to steal it back. Friends who don't understand why you don't reply instantly anymore. Apps trying to pull you with new tricks, notifications, and designs. Old habits whispering, come back, one video, one scroll, one hit. You are not just changing a habit, you are leaving a system, and no system likes to lose its members. So you must treat your focus as something sacred, something non-negotiable. Not fragile, not optional, sacred. Here are 3 commitments to protect your focused mind over the long term. You don't have to accept all of them at once, but if you live them, your relationship with your own mind will never be the same. Commitment 1. Daily focus practice, even when life is chaotic. Life will not organize itself around your focus. Some days will be messy. You will be tired, stressed, busy, angry, sad. On those days, most people drop their efforts. I'll get back on track when I feel better. That is exactly how years are lost. A focused mind does not require perfect days. It requires non-negotiable practice. Even if your day is a disaster, you can still carve out 10, 15, 20 minutes to train your focus. One focused session on a bad day protects your identity. It says, I'm not only disciplined when it's easy, I am disciplined especially when it's hard. That is how mental strength is built. Commitment 2. Clear boundaries with technology. Your devices are tools, but if you're not careful, they become cages. You must decide how technology exists in your life. For example, no phone during your first focused work block of the day. No social media during meals. A defined time window for random internet use, not all the time. Specific apps removed or limited if they add nothing to your growth. This is not about being anti-technology. It is about being pro-you. If a platform is designed to break your focus, you have 2 options. You either design barriers around it, or it will design your mind for you. And it will not design it for discipline. Commitment 3. Choosing depth over noise again and again. Every day you are offered 2 paths, depth or noise. Depth is a real book, a meaningful conversation, serious practice, silence and reflection, writing your thoughts, training your English with full presence. Noise is endless, shallow scrolling, empty arguments online, content that gives you emotion, but no growth. Distraction for distraction's sake. Noise feels good quickly and leaves you emptier. Depth often feels harder at first and leaves you fuller. A focused mind is not built once. It is chosen every time you pick depth when noise is available. Part 7. Reprogramming your mind starts now. You might be thinking, I get it. I'm distracted. I understand focus. Now what? The answer is simple and brutal. Now you decide whether this video is just interesting or the beginning of a different life. Most people will do nothing. They will listen, nod, feel inspired for a few minutes, and then go back to the same exact behavior. They will continue to say, I want to change, while doing everything to stay the same. You don't have to be like them. You can mark this moment as the moment you stop treating your mind like a joke. So here is your starting protocol to reprogram your mind for focus. 1. One daily focus window. Start with 15-25 minutes. One task, no switching, phone away, timer on. 2. One small environmental change. Today, not someday. Move your phone out of your working area, turn off some notifications, clean your desk, remove one digital trigger of distraction. 3. One conscious upgrade in your internal dialogue. The next time you catch yourself saying, I can't focus, or I'm too distracted, replace it with, I am training my focus now. It's hard, but it's possible. 4. One act of depth instead of noise. Tonight or tomorrow, when you feel the urge to escape into meaningless content, take at least 10 of those minutes and use them for something deeper. A book, serious English practice, writing your own thoughts, or simply sitting in silence and observing your mind. These are not huge steps, but they are real steps. and real steps, repeated rewrite programs. You don't need to become perfect. You don't need to become a machine. You don't need to live like a monk. You just need to stop living as a slave to every impulse and notification. You need to remember, your focus is your life. Where your attention goes, your days go. Where your days go, your years go. Where your years go, your life goes. If you give your attention to noise, you give your life to noise. If you give your attention to what truly matters, you give your life to what truly matters. A focused mind is not a luxury. It is survival for anyone who wants to live consciously in a world designed to keep you distracted. You've reached the end of The Power of a Focused Mind. Reprogram your mind, here on English Rise. If this message hit you deeply, if it made you uncomfortable in a useful way, if you felt your mind waking up while training your English at the same time, don't let it fade. Re-listen to this when you feel yourself slipping. Use it during your focus windows to train both your language and your discipline. And if you want more content that doesn't treat you like a child, that respects your intelligence and challenges you to grow in English and in life, subscribe to English Rise. Protect your mind, sharpen your focus, reprogram your inner world, because no one else is going to do it for you.